Morning. We're doing something a little bit different this week, and we are going to show you a typical day in the life, as typical as it can get, of what it's like to live on the road and live in a van like ours.
We obviously do a lot of vlogs specific to destinations or going on adventures and stuff like that, but we thought we'd just show a bit more insight into the stuff that we might not normally show or might not think is that interesting, but shows a little bit more behind the scenes as to what we really do and how our days go pretty regularly.
So we'll be taking you along on today's day. We just crossed the South Australia border and we spent the night at a free camp in Ketopedic. First thing, coffee.
May have noticed we get pretty excited over coffee. So as we said before, we had a really big drive yesterday, about 5 or 6 hours from Alice Springs. So we just rolled into town on sunset yesterday and just put into a little free camp in the heart of Ketopedic. We don't usually like to do like back-to-back days of really big driving for Vance's sake, but also for our sanity. so we're gonna have and Ketopedic is such a cool little town. It's super funky. So we want to sort of go have a bit more of a chill day and explore this quirky little town as well.
So we just finished our coffees and now we're probably gonna make some brekkie and then pack up and wander around the town. So for breakfast, you've probably seen us have our fancy schmancy potato hash and avocado with eggs on toast. Those are really rare occurrences. They're kind of like special occasions. Usually we actually just have muesli bars because we like to do things first thing in the morning. It's usually when there's less crowds and the temperature is a little bit cooler, especially out in the outback. But if we have a bit more time or there's a special...
Smooth.
Anyway, where was I? Today we're just having some granola. We'd like to have it with some bananas and maybe some blueberries and stuff, but because we just crossed the border, we had to get rid of all of our fruit. So we're just having some basic granola to fuel us for the day, and then we'll be on our way. So I often get asked a lot how I store all of my clothes in the van. I don't really have that many clothes, but everything fits right in here. We have our undies and all that good stuff up top. My clothes, a little bit of Glenn's clothes. Glenn doesn't really have that much, so that kind of helps. He basically, if it's hot, he won't wear any shirt and he'll just wear a pair of shorts, one of his 2 shorts that he owns. And if it's cold, he'll wear his typical quarter zip sweater that you see in every single one of our videos. So it helps that he's pretty basic in that sense, a clothing sense. But yeah, everything fits in here. We have a little system, and then on the other side is just hanging stuff, and that's about it. So now we're just gonna get changed and then pack Vance up. Probably should have gotten changed before I put the blinds away, but you know, all good.
So now I've just got our little daily routine of getting Vance ready to be able to drive. Obviously, we can't drive with the pop top up. So first things first, we've just got these little magnetic fly screens that we whack in the back, and then we do up all the little air vents up the top there, close them, put the pop top down, make sure everything's in Vance, and then we're good to go. So that's Ketopedic. The world famous. It actually is world famous. It's the opal capital of the entire world, which is sort of what's made the township become what it is.
Yeah, it's so funky.
It's super weird, like old school. And basically its economy is built on tourism, and the biggest thing's the opals as well. But because it is one of the hottest and driest climates in Australia, it's also become known for the fact that most houses and businesses are actually underground, so that it's a lot cooler, so it almost like insulates the houses better. So it's funny, there are so many like houses like half in, half out of like hillsides, and like it's almost like people just drop dirt on their houses and they've covered them up. It's just such a funky little place, but sadly, because of coronavirus, no one really comes here, so it's really quiet. So it's been fun to sort of cruise around and go for a bit of a walk, but most of the things are closed, sadly.
Yeah, but I guess the good thing about this kind of travel is that we can do it at our own pace. We've sort of explored a bit of an area, and then we can move on. So I think that we've probably seen the majority of the town.
Yeah.
That's about it. But before we head on, we're going to do a little bit of a grocery shop because, like I said before, when we crossed the border, we couldn't bring any fruit and veg in. So we're going to stock up on all that before we then continue on south. Okay, so just did our little grocery shop. These towns are typically, because we're pretty much in the middle of nowhere, it's very expensive to buy pretty much anything. So we just got the basics. Tonight we're going to be making a veggie stir fry, which is one of our favorites. Very simple, but very yummy. We love this fridge so much. It's the Bushman 60 liter. Seriously, we call it the never ending fridge because it fits so much. All of our Oatly, as you can tell. And candy. So we'll just fill this up and then get going on with our day.
So now it's time to hit the road. So as always, we usually consult either Campermate or Wikicamps. Just for ideas for free camps, particularly if we're covering a lot more distance or we're just sort of looking for a place to stay. We're very happy just staying at like designated free camp spots. Otherwise, if we're at specific places, it's also fun to explore and find your own. But for this, Campermate's awesome. Just end up using the app. Any of the green ones are free camps. We can just scroll along our journey, have a little look, see if it's something that makes sense or that we'd like to stay there, and decide where we're going to go next.
So where are we going to go next, Gunny?
I don't know.
Tell
really
me.
Put me on the spot.
Pick a spot. Where should we go?
Glendambo sounds cool, purely for the namesake. So maybe just before it. Who knows?
How far away is it?
About 200 k's.
Okay, so a few hours.
An hour or two.
How far away is it from Port Augusta?
About 5.
Whoa. Okay, so we'll drive down that way and maybe a little bit further, maybe a little bit.
An hour or two, see how Vance is doing, see how we're doing. And then set up for the night, food prep, and go from there.
Woo!
So, just pulled over for a cheeky little roadside snack. This is like a staple of mine that I've grown to love. Not just for roadside snacks either. Is banana and peanut butter on a tortilla. I'll have it for breakfast, roadside snack, lunch, dessert, whatever you want. You got it. It's the best. So we'll always have a bunch of wraps, bananas and peanut butter on hand for these very special occasions, which are almost daily occurrences.
Got enough peanut butter?
Gotta get it all in there. Let me just... Yep.
Oh my gosh. So much peanut butter.
I'm a hungry growing boy.
Growing? How old are you?
Trying to grow. I still got some growing up to do. And if you're extra hungry, add honey, add an extra banana. Doesn't matter. The sky's the limit. Then you just pop them in there. If it's too bendy as well, here's a tip. Too bendy. Boom. Opposite way, straight as an arrow. Boom. You got the best snack of your life.
Is this sponsored by Banana? What's your discount code?
Use Glenn69
Oh my god.
for any banana or peanut butter purchases in the future.
This whole clip just got way too dirty. Apologies. So we did a lot more driving today, and we just found this free camp, and I saw it on Camper Mate and it said it was a lake. Thought it would be pretty cool. It's a salt lake. What a spot! What do you think, Glennie? This is amazing, completely free. So cool.
So you've probably seen our Big Yeti setup. This big old cooler thing. And a lot of people think it's used as a fridge, but we've obviously got our fridge already. So this doubles, well, it uses a lot of things. One of the things we use it for the most is actually as a step up to get up on top to get the boards on and off the roof. It's also a really nice bench seat. But a really cool thing about this is where we keep any like extra stuff. It's basically waterproof, you can lock it, temperature doesn't affect it, stuff like that. So depending on whatever it is you want to use it for, we can use it for that specific one. So when we're on the coast, we can chuck wetsuits in there, diving gear, anything like that. At the moment, we've got a spare jerry can, some water, some big jackets and stuff like that we're not going to use as much. So that way we can always put it in here. It fits perfectly in between the rear-facing bench seat and the bed. We can leave it outside because it's lockable, and that way it's just happy days. We've got a nice little step bench seat, storage, all that jazz, and it looks good.
So normally when we meal prep, we sort of have a bit of a system going. I chop all the veggies, Glenn does all the cooking, and then I usually clean up. I don't know why that's what we've been doing, but we just have done it from the get-go, and it's sort of this little assembly line system that we have going, so works really well, works for us. I usually chop everything outside. We have it set up, but it's so windy and there are so many flies, so for my sanity, I'm just gonna be cutting in here today. So on today's menu is a stir fry. It's a really good way to get in heaps of veggies, and it's really yummy.
All right, finished product. Awesome thing about these dinners that we do is that they end up lasting us 4 dinners for both of us. So not only is it yummy, we get heaps of good stuff in. It means we only need to cook dinner really properly once every 4 nights. It also ends up being really cheap. So most of our meals we end up trying to make about $2 to $3 per person per meal. And this is probably our biggest meal that we focus on through the day. As we've said before, our breakfasts vary a lot, and then so too do our lunches. So our most common one is probably like a tuna and bean mix that we then put in a wrap. But even then, it's completely dependent on what we're doing. So if we're surfing a lot or going on a hike or something like that, we end up having a really big brekkie. But on days like today, when a lot of the time we're just checking out of town, driving a lot, there's not really that much point to be stocking up a lot. So not only is it saving money, but it's just making sure we're not just eating out of boredom. But the constant is always these big yummy dinners to make sure we're getting enough veggie and enough calories in for the day.
Oh. Oh my god, are you okay? You good?
I'm gonna swallow the fly. That's not what I cooked. Far out.
So now that we've had our very early dinner, it's 5:30. We usually eat dinner pretty early, I'd say. I mean, we don't really pay attention to the time. We kind of eat very intuitively. If it's 3:30 and we're hungry, we'll just have dinner or a snack. And if we don't eat until 6:30, 7, then that's when we eat dinner. It's worked really well for us, but I think a lot of times we just want to wrap up the day and then get into Vance and continue on. So now we're just doing a little bit of work. As part of the way that we make money on the road is that we do photography and videography for brands. So I'm working on that, on organizing and editing all of the photos that we've captured for this current brand that we're working with. And Glenn's actually working on a few YouTube videos that we have coming up. Good little system. Glenn does a lot of the videos, I do a lot of the photos. Works pretty well. So we'll probably just work on this for the next few hours or so and then watch the sunset. How cool!
I had no idea this was here.
The the outback of Australia and we're on a salt lake. What is life? Now we're back in Vance, ready to settle down for the night. There isn't too much to do once it gets dark unless we have a campfire. So we'll just hang out and watch Netflix until we pass out. It's exciting.
Yeah. We hope you enjoy this little look into the mundane day-to-day life of when it's just more travel and going to destinations as opposed to the epic destinations themselves.
If you have any questions about our setup or our routine or anything like that, or there are similar videos that you'd like to see from us, let us know, and make sure that you're subscribing because we are going to be heading to some very cool spots over the next coming weeks.
See you on the next one. We found a thorny devil. I've been wanting to find one on this trip, but he's in the middle of the road. We almost ran over him. So we're trying to either scare him off or just get him to get off the road. Yeah!
Okay, now put him down.
I am the thorny devil whisperer.
Okay, put him down. Oh, he looks so cute. Yeah.
Here you go, buddy. You're safe.